Oops, mic was off. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the night race at Zolder here for round 4 of the ARC Prototype Challenge. And, yeah, darkness sets on the racetrack here in Zolder, Belgium for another 40-minute race. The same, same as ever, I suppose. Qualifying has just begun, and as a result, we have about a minute before any laps start to get underway. We see the first car that left the pits won't be the first car to make it around the circuit, though, so we'll change the camera to the leading car in the group, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, as he's making his way towards the end of Sector 2 on the circuit. And I'm trying to do way too much at once here. I'm trying to start the stream, trying to get a team announcement for a different league, trying to get the stream elsewhere. Jurgensmeyer crosses the start line. To begin the first lap of the session, into turn 1 he goes. Very ambiguous braking zone, and at apex you can put just about anywhere. Like, literally anywhere, it doesn't even matter. Out of the final turn of Sector 1, pretty decent run so far. You're definitely running low on the fuel there. Only 7 liters of gas. I guess you don't need a whole lot for... This track's not very long, after all. Into the first of the track's... Or no, the second of the track's 3 chicanes. I'm paying perfect attention, I swear. I'm just a little not completely there yet. I'm like a car engine in the winter. I have to get a little warmed up first, so to speak. Through the hairpin, very sideways, Jurgensmeyer gets on exit. And he's going to get out of the way of another car there. I'm not sure who that is. It might be Ajik Nickel. No, it is his teammate. Tim Galvin will instead be the first to complete a fast lap, which will be a 26.55. Jurg follows the 31.2 because he backed out on the penultimate straightaway. Galvin's still going at full speed around the track at the moment. Matthew Daly clocks in a 27.7. I don't think that lap from... I was about to say, no, that's not who that is. That's, Dewan McMurray, I believe, is this driver. It's been a bit since they've appeared, so I kind of had to think for a second who that was. Actually, is that Dewan? I don't think that is. Who is that again? I should absolutely know. Luis Ramirez runs a 27 for Ajik Nickel, a 27.1. Oh, it's Deshaun Davidson. I got the Duz mixed up. It's not Dewan, it's Deshaun. I thought I'm in a football game or something. Matthew Stotts runs a 29.1. And Jurgensmeyer crosses the line to set a more appropriate lap of a 28.4. So, not a huge improvement. That is worth, like, literally one position. Watching with Logan Cool, who's on who's on pace to set a more respectable lap, 3 seconds up entirely as he heads towards the final sector of the racetrack. The car behind him shouldn't be affected by anything that Logan does, unless he flies off the racetrack, which he has not done. Over the line, the 75 car will set a 32.8, and he will do that. Tim Galvin jumped way up to a 25.6, and AJ Knickel tried to match with a 27 flat, but that lap time is going to be tough to reach. But Dylan Bam is on the racetrack, and something tells me if there's somebody that can reach it, it's probably him. As he heads towards the first chicane, we're right on board with him for this fast lap. Getting really, really tossed around by those curbs, and he's being asked to release the throttle to comply with the stewards in the game. Surprisingly, it wasn't an instant invalidation. Through the second chicane, Agile is, well, an LMP3 is likely to be. Gabe Gazzola has been invalidated at least 6,000 times. Oh, my word. I think his lap is invalid. I'm not sure where I'm getting that indication from, but I don't think his lap is valid. Up to the final pair of turns, which I guess is technically a chicane. Since it's one consistent steering motion, never let out of the steering completely at any point. He doesn't get there though, 26.5, so he pretty much settles right in between Knickel and Galvin. Two 44R drivers sitting 1-3 at the moment, with Dylan the only driver splitting them at the moment. At the moment. Flashing his lights, trying to inform somebody up ahead that he is approaching. I'm not sure who that is. Oh, that would be AJ, who's currently on an in-lap. What? Or not. Okay, I'm just a fool, or he was... Oh no, he was pitting in, that's why I did that. I was like, what? He's not over there. Or no, that isn't AJ Knickel. What? That looks like AJ's car in this light. It's Travis Van Oostendorp. I am very good at my job. These liveries don't stick out, okay? It's not like there's like, oh, there's 2 or 3 Porsches, or there's, you know, like a certain number of McLarens. Like, oh, there's the Ferrari of this, you know. This is all a spec series, and I'm just having to remember who's who based on their livery alone, which is not something I'm really used to doing. It's different in IndyCar because the liveries are based off real-life cars. Dylan Bam crosses, finds no improvement. Somebody is hitting a wall. You know, there was a conversation in the chat earlier about post-race contact being penalizable because it looks immature. Is that really any better on stream, though? To just violently steer the car so much that you send yourself flying? Is that really any more mature? I don't really know. Not my place to really ask. We are watching Matthew Daly. He heads towards the final set of turns here. Up to the braking zone. Already 4th on the board, but if he can gain just a tiny bit, he'll jump AJ Knickel, at least for the moment, as we tick down the final handful of seconds of the session. Oh, he does more than find a 10th. He finds an entire second and jumps Dylan, too. It's an immaculate lap. Not immaculate, but an immense lap for Matthew Daly. Still 6/10 off of Tim Galvin, who's also on track. Dylan Bam isn't even on the racetrack, so his session is over. AJ Knickel crosses the line right as the... Is he on a lap, or is his time up? I think he got there with literal milliseconds But I don't know if the game's track limits are going to allow that line anyway. Luis Ramirez also on a lap. He's about to end his as he heads out of the last turn. We'll see what he can perform. Not an improvement. Matthew Stotts follows him over. Not an improvement. Who's on the front stretch? Deshaun Davidson across the line. Not an improvement. Alright. Clearly the speed is gone on the racing surface at this point. That car is not the one we're following. I believe that must be... I don't know who that would be up there. That would be Matthew Daly. And neither of these drivers find any more time either. AJ Knickel will round the last turn of the lap. And as he crosses, it should bring qualifying to a close. He finds an improvement and jumps Dylan Bam. He's the only driver in the last minute to find a faster lap time, but he only gets over Dylan. He doesn't even get over his former teammate of Matthew Daly, and nobody got anywhere near our pole sitter, Tim Galvin. Connor Hannock picked up a grid penalty, so he'll be starting one spot down from there. And so here it is. Where's my cursor? I don't need the timing stable. It's pointless. I mean, it's not pointless, but it's not super helpful. While the drivers get their strategies and setups adjusted, I will take a brief water break. The golf club, as I always call this track. Or I think somebody said, Zolder is the track that lives in Spa's shadow. That other Belgian circuit. But, we do one after the other, so neither one is ignored here in AutoRacingConnected's prototype challenge. The pre-race festivities here should be wrapping up at literally any second. And then we'll have the pace lap. And that will, during which we will give the full grid rundown. There we go. Once again waiting until the literal last few seconds. Ignore these lights. As much as I wish the days of standing starts, they get a little more. They're a little more exciting than these. And there's a reason why we do that now. We changed that rule to eliminate the unfair advantage that drivers with automatic gearboxes get by being able to just hold the gas, and the game does the clutch for them and everything. So the game will release them the moment the lights go out, whilst drivers in manual have to release the clutch and shift into drive to drive. Sit up in my chair, and we will run down the grid. By 6/10, Tim Galvin grabs the pole position for the 40 minutes of Zolder, followed by Matthew Daly with a surprise result in his qualifying time. Galvin's teammate AJ Knickel is in third, Dylan Bam in fourth, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in fifth. The Luis Ramirez, with his standard internet connection, starts in sixth place. I don't envy Matthew Stotts right now, as he starts in 7th. Travis Van Oostendorp starts 8th. Logan Cool, 9th. Connor Hannock, 10th. Gabe Cazzola, 11th. And Deshaun Davidson rounds off the grid. I'm bringing the camera back to Tim Galvin while I attempt to hopefully get the championship standings to load. My tablet doesn't really like to do that all of the time. I have to manually search for the series. Okay, well, I'm not going to get into it right now because we're about to go green, but I have managed to successfully look at the standings. Everybody rejoice. I get to be an informed broadcaster for the first time in my life. That's an exaggeration, but warm the tires. It'll be very difficult to keep them heated on this autumn night in Belgium. The track temp may be sub 50 degrees in Fahrenheit, so might be an even bigger problem than it was at Spa, but we are away from Zolder. Tim Galvin just leaves everybody in the dust, and the former teammates of Knickel and Daly will go 2 wide into 1. A bit of contact in the midfield there, but no major damages all around yet. Interval had a bit of a moment. 2 wide. AJ Knickel and Dylan Bam through the middle part of the sector. And Dylan Bam will have the better line. And he'll 3rd place with a bit of oversteer. Travis Van Oostendorp is taking a brand new line, and we will not get to see it as the camera is lazy. Knickel comes back at Dylan into the first chicane, but the outside of the chicane will not really gonna do much for him. It's already pretty much single file as we head to the second chicane, and we get a pretty solid view of the whole pack running through here. Nobody's really been left behind as of yet, although Deshaun Davidson is not quite at maximum speed back here. I wonder if perhaps that's just cautious driving or if there's some damage to his vehicle. It's hard to know. Already a pretty noticeable separation now between the top 4 and everyone else behind. Durg currently leads the second train. And everybody is, as I said, basically single file. But Travis is right on the back of that 24 car. He's going to look. He is going to search, and he is going to find P5 on the racetrack. Durg now under threat from what I believe to be his half-teammate in Gabe Cazzola. I don't remember which car is on which team. I just remember it actually being that. I think that's Travis's team car, or rather, I don't know. Stotts has a bit of an excursion there, almost off the racetrack, but he about stays on. Dylan Bam is, I believe, giving up time. He may have cut a corner somewhere. So AJ Knickel will now get back to the 3rd place he once had. Oh man, Tim Galvin just got, I think, very slow through that second chicane. Now Matthew Daly's keeping him company as we head towards the hairpin. Does Daly go for something here? No, it's a little early to be thinking about sending it. Not exactly sure what happened there, if that was just a bad corner, if maybe he caught oversteer, who knows. Didn't lose in many places, but it brought the 19 of Daly right up to him. Oh, Dylan is very wide there. I like these drawn-out shots, but right now we need a close-up on this battle for the lead. Around the outside goes Matthew Daly. Does he keep it on the racetrack? Just about. Now that's the inside. And now that is the race lead for Matthew Daly. AJ sees his teammate offline. He's going to take advantage of the moment into second place for the 82. As he runs down his former teammate, although all 4 of these drivers are basically in a big alliance. Dylan Bam is right there for the taking as well. If things go haywire, he's in the safest place to be, at least theoretically. AJ making a peak, more than a peak, alongside but he backs out of that. Lets Matthew Daly take the racing line as per usual. Half chances, not really going to get you too far into a chicane that requires full-on commitment. The back half of the running order not really that close together at the moment. The only two that are really near each other. There's still a bit of a 3-car train, but it isn't much of a train. Dylan Bam, I think, is being asked to let off again. Indeed. So that'll lose him time to the other 3. AJ Knickel, very wide at 1. Well, compromise him into every other corner in this section. Logan Cool is the first to make a pit stop right at the end of lap 4. As I cough. I think Tim Galvin made a bit of an error. He got a penalty despite being literally at 70 miles an hour. Well, that's because he was in a turn. Camera didn't help me there. AJ was also off the road. I think track limits are kind of kicking everyone's behind right now. Everyone except currently for the 19 of Daly. Never mind, he's also getting one, so I guess share the wealth. This is the game of life now, I suppose. Puts AJ right back there. And puts, well, all 4 of them right back there. Everybody got exactly 1 time penalty. Or 1 warning, I should say. Tim got a penalty, but I imagine if he made an effort to slow down, which I'm pretty sure he did based on the time he lost to his teammate, that will be removed retroactively by the stewards. End of lap 5, still a 4-car pack heading around the circuit. However, only really one of them, sort of 2, are really in the championship picture at this moment. Dylan's had some bad races, so he's nowhere even near championship contention at this moment. It's between AJ Knickel at 65, Matthew Stott's 43. Matthew Daly enjoying points of wow. Bad time to look down at the point standings. The one time I try to do that, we have an absolutely massive wreck. Takes out two of the 4 leading cars. Not really sure. If I'd been looking up, I'd have seen what happened, but I wasn't. That was a really terrible time to do that, huh? I looked down for 30 seconds to see the point standings. I look back up and I just see a sideways 19 car getting pile-drivered by an 83. That seems about right, admittedly. It also caught Dylan in the crash, although not nearly as badly as the other 2, whose cars look like they've been through a can opener. And that is our first caution of the race. 10 real-life minutes after the green flag. I'm not sure where that car is going. Oh, Dylan's taking his position back. I was like, what, are you mowing the lawn? Couldn't tell what car it was. So I figure just for convenience sake, most drivers will be pitting around this time. Dylan? Hello? What? Yep. In. This camera is really not helpful. And if there's one driver that might not be pitting, I think it's Logan Cool, because he already pit earlier in the race. Which will possibly allow him to he might be taking the lead here, but he's got to really get on his horse and ride to get around the track before they leave the pits, which might not happen. He's taking a bit. He was a ways back because he had such a long pit stop. Does he get across the pit exit line before what looks like Travis will be the first vehicle to exit the pits. He does not. Logan Cool will move to the race lead, following his usual pit strategy of pit at the earliest convenience. And he will lead us to the green shortly. But now I will take this opportunity to finish looking over the important points runners. So AJ has the points lead at 65. That's relatively safe, considering, well, you can only score 25 at one race, if I remember right. The only driver that's close to that is Matthew Stotts at 43. Matthew Daly and Jurgensmeyer tie at 30. Tim Galvin's at 27, despite only making 2 starts up to this point. Luis Ramirez at 22, Van Oostendorp at 18, Cazzola and Hannick tied at 16, Logan Cool and Dylan Bam tied at 9. And that's the last of the drivers that I see here that are really relevant. We have constructors' points. I didn't even notice this down here. Are they going to load? Point systems? Oh, they're beneath that. Okay, so it's just F1 points. I'm a fool. Oh boy, there's one constructor. Unsurprisingly, SLP Team 44 is leading the team points. Has this always been here? Am I an idiot? May not be going green this time, as looks like Tim Galvin and Dylan Bam had a lot of damage to repair, and so that means that 2 of the 11 cars aren't even with us just yet. And no, we are not green. I can tell because they're swerving still. Team 44 leads at 92 between AJ and Tim Galvin. T1A at 59, CLE at 48, Goat Inc. at 34, Champ Inc. at 31. I had to think there for a second. I was like, who is... Sure, that's Andrew Davis, who's not here today. LA7 at 25, JSR at 16. 1 point scored for HRT, and that's Julian Lozano's singular point in the race he started and didn't finish. So with that said and done, now I'll be able to actually look at the screen and not miss the next crash, hopefully. I mean, I guess I should say, hopefully there isn't another crash. But if there is, let me not completely miss it like I almost just did there. Deshaun Davidson disconnects. Yeah, now only have 10 running vehicles. Need more water. I just saw that in the corner of my eye. It seems that Connor Hannick got some damage done to his car. His car, which is the same that Logan is driving, that's not right. Yeah, I think he was hit under caution, so he is allowed to go around and fix it. Which I think also means we will not be green this time either. Yeah, no, we are not. Galvin's back in the pit lane too. Is he the one that hit Hannick? I suppose. Now Hannick will be allowed to return to his original running order spot, since, I mean, basically the driver who hit the other driver. If it was like Hannick just like slamming the brakes, he won't be, but usually it's Hannick is checking up for the cars ahead or whoever else is behind, not necessarily just Galvin, but whoever is behind that car doesn't react in time and rear ends them. Hannick will be allowed to return to where he was in the starting grid, but I don't remember if the car that caused the contact is also allowed to do the same thing. I don't think they are. But with those two now back in the pack, we should finally be green on this occasion. A whole 9 minutes have been taken out of the race time by this yellow flag, so... In about 2 laps' time, we'll be passing the halfway mark of the race. At least, chronologically speaking, even if it won't be, you know, half time since start of race, just half time since start of session. Ejiknickel weaves his tires for all they're worth before we head to the final 2 turns. Logan Cool pours at his earliest convenience. We are green again from Zolder. And Travis van Oostendorp is right there to take it away. Down the inside into turn 1. Almost contact, but we avoid problems. Well, the front cars did, but Ejiknickel did not. He spins... or was spun, not sure if there was causation or not. Through turn 1, Travis gets to the inside of turn 2 and 3, and that will put him in the race lead. Logan did not generate a run out of the previous turn. I don't think he'll have a shot into the chicane, and he knows that just as well as everybody else, so he, you know, holds station. Also, these are the team cars. I'm an idiot. It's Stotts and Gabe, not Stotts and Travis. Actually, yeah, no, I just have a thing that'll tell me which teams are which. I really need to start using that resource a little bit more, instead of just being like, there's yellow on that car. That's what I do. I'm like, oh, there's a yellow stripe. That's great. There's 4 cars like that, Riker. Jurgensmeyer has a peek at Logan Cool into 1. He'll try the same move his teammate did, but he cannot hold it. Even on with the inside lane, Logan defends on the outside well. Stotts is now right there on his diffuser, on Jurg's diffuser, so he's going to try and sneak a move on him, but Jurg again probes down the inside of Logan, still no results. Matthew Stotts is now even closer than before, and he's going to look for a pass into the chicane, but will find nothing. Further back, it's very much nose to tail if the camera would like to keep up. We are 3 wide at the moment. We're still 3 wide. This cannot work, and oh, yeah, around goes Dylan right into the side of Matthew Daly. These two are magnetically attracted today. And I believe what that one was there was Matthew Stotts tried to give Juergensmeyer a bit more space, and I just don't think he knew Dylan was over there. And that summons another yellow flag. As Dylan is sent helplessly spinning off the track and right at Matthew Daly. Great job in bowling. Terrible job in motorsports. Travis does not pit. I feel like the only ones pitting now are going to be the ones that got damaged from that disastrous crash. Which will be... I didn't realize Hannah... Okay, so there's more than that. Well, I suppose it's possible Stotts got damaged from moving sideways into Dylan. Stotts, Kazola, Hannick, Bam, and Daly pit. So half the field goes, half the field stays out. As we pass the halfway mark in the session. Which means we'll probably be looking at about 18 minutes to go when we take the green again, assuming there are no undue complications. Although with how fast the cars behind have gotten out of the pits, we might be going at the 20-minute mark. Which would basically be the actual halfway point of the race. Travis fighting for every single degree of temperature he can get into those tires. Yeah, it must be frigid here at Zolder right now. I can only imagine getting those tires to maintain any amount of warmth on these long caution periods. It's probably a challenge in its own right. No more or less than the race itself is. But it looks like everybody is going to... the wrong menu. It looks like everybody will get back here just as we reach the last sector of the circuit, so we ought to be green this time round, with just over 20 minutes left in the race. And just waiting for that throttle modulator thing, the green bar to raise. We should be green. We are. There's contact immediately. And it's once again Dylan Bam getting the bad end of the stick. I can't tell if that car is still crumpled. We're not waving it off though. We are green. There's only a single car spinning round. Oh, Logan Poole barely fights back on the outside of Jonathan Juergensmeyer through turn 2. Excuse me. Couldn't get to the mute button for that one. Oh my word, Logan Poole very slow through turn 4 though. And we have another major accordion effect back here. He gets away with not much damage. I don't know, I don't think Juergensmeyer's car is too happy, although I think now we are under safety car again. Yes, we obviously are. We had a good 10 minutes or so. Well, I guess we'll just see if anybody pits here. Do you dare go back there where we've had so many incidents? I say, as the first incident literally happened in a battle for the lead, but, you know, that's besides the point. It seems as though most people do pit here. Only the top two, and then Gabe stay out. Obviously, because probably Jurg ran to the back of Logan, and that did a bunch of damage to his car. But either it didn't do much to Logan's, or it didn't do enough for him to care, because he troops on. I don't think that's the word. I think the word you're looking for is soldiers on, Riker. I wouldn't be surprised if most other cars running behind him at the time also got caught up in the concertina effect and got damage to their own cars. We are making LMP3 babies there as two vehicles make their way out of the pits at the exact same time. Looks like that is Hannick and Daly that are the first to leave. Excuse me, and then Galvin, Knickel, Stotts, Jurgensmeyer really lost a lot of time, made a lot of damage, and Dylan Bam probably has even more than that. He's the driver we saw spun out right at the beginning of that green flag run that lasted one sector. He's still in that box, so he may not be able to rejoin this field before they get back around to the start-finish, unless they red flag it or go to the pit limiter. Because by the time he gets out of Sector 1, they'll be in Sector 3. Otherwise, we are in pit limiter, as I had said, to try and allow Dylan to get here and not waste further time with another lap around the track. It still may not actually be enough. If he gets here, it'll be like right at the run to the last turns. He might just actually get here. Yeah, he will. So, pit limiter strategy has worked for race control, which is just AJ in the race channel or race voice channel saying to do 37. Now we run up to the start-finish line once more. 15 minutes left on the race timer, or session timer. And Travis is holding for a second, and we are green once more from Zolder. Right as we tick over to 15 minutes. Lap 15 begins. And Travis he's plenty clear, to say the least. We've made it all to turn one, all have made it to turn one this time, just about. I was a little more spread out, though, than before, except for these two. At the back, we're jostling. More than that, Jurgensmeyer nearly gets run off the circuit by, that would be Dylan back there. They managed to keep it on the tarmac. Everyone proceeds in an orderly fashion through the first chicane into the second one. Too wide in the midfield. Another missed braking point. Connor Hannick barely clips Daly on his way out. I want to look at the 19. There we go. That spins them all the way around right at the apex, so it's probably a mess at the apex that I really wasn't able to look at because the camera was looking at Connor Hannick. But this time he stayed green because only Matthew Daly went around and Connor Hannick managed to get his car safely way away from the circuit. But ironically, in the time that other cars lost, he didn't actually rejoin in last place. Since the spinning Matthew Daly took up the vast majority of the racetrack. Logan defends from AJ Knickel into one, but finds himself way off of the circuit. Even AJ himself almost did, which you get when he runs to a tight line. He makes the pass, but he's still vulnerable to Matthew Stotts if he can find a good run through turn 4. Just spit everywhere saying that. And a good run I think he might have just gotten, although he lets off, so he's forfeit that run. I mean, I guess this isn't the best passing zone. He's better off in the other chicane. Oh man, Hannick's, hang on to it. A bit of a Hannick panic. What is this lad doing? Did he miss the braking zone again? I think he might have gained time there, Nostradamus. A bit of a madness back here. The battle for 8th is literally nose to tail. Daly trying to make up for that spin a minute ago. Tim Galvin, who's not been able to get through the field after his early crashes. AJ Knickel on the back of Gabe Cazzola for 2nd place. Gabe is likely to play some defense. They're not explicitly teammates, but T1A and CLE have an alliance, not unlike Champ Inc. and 44R. Down the inside, the 82 goes. Slight contact. No, more contact in the background. Dylan Bam once again turns into a vortex. And he is sent off into the beach episode. The sand trap, I mean. Running gag from earlier with Logan Cool for the race. That demotes him to last. AJ has the peak at the first chicane. Big jump for Gabe Cazzola. That's the opening the Canadian needs. And he will probably be through to 2nd unresisted. No, resistance. Resistance is there. Cazzola is forced the long way around though, and that was never going to work at a chicane. AJ finally gets back to 2nd. He's the first of the original leaders to get back into the top 2. But he's got a 6-second margin to make up on Travis in just over 10 minutes, and Gabe's still there. If Gabe's feeling particularly racy, which I'm sure he is, this is a race, he can hassle AJ a little bit more before he gets away. He's got slipstream, after all. But can he get the run he'll need through the final turn to hang with him? He might have. I don't know. No, he doesn't. No. What the heck? Galvin on the back of Cool for 7th place. Galvin sells the crossover. Logan's still going to hang on to the inside for what it's worth. So Tim will just perform a 2nd crossover maneuver. And this one will get him ahead of the 75 car safely. Dylan Bam pits, taking massive damage from the earlier collision he had with, I believe, Matthew Stotts. Jurgensmeyer is right on the back of Hannick at the 2nd chicane. He motions for a move. Iga gave Hannick a little bit of contact there, but that's not enough to make the bump and move. The move aside and move forwards. Hannick managed to remain steadfast. In the meantime, Matthew Stotts is catching up to his teammate of Gabe Cazzola. We'll see if anything develops from that. Oh, Jurg just got a big run out of the last turn. We'll see if he can get alongside in time. No, not quite, even though Hanek left the cars with there anyway. He didn't even need to, because I don't think Jurgens was there. Asthma moment. Return to commentating. Jurgens still right there. He's just probing for weakness at this point, as the P-Cars or spotter would say, I believe. No, not spotter, engineer would say. The spotter just gives spotting, doesn't do anything else. Obviously, the spotter gives spotting. Riker Lummel, 2023. 8 minutes to go in the race, which should amount to about 5 laps in the race. Depending on when Travis crosses, it might be 6. Actually, it looks like it will be 6. And Dusseldorf holding a 5-second lead. That 27.5 would have been mighty good in qualifying, but he didn't do that then. AJ with a really off lap, though. We're looking at a 3-car battle now. Jurgensmeyer has spent so long trying to find a way to get ahead of Connor Hanek that Tim Galvin now approaches. Galvin on a bit of a recovery drive, trying to make up for being involved in 2 separate incidents throughout the race. Up ahead, Jurg does have another peak. Couldn't quite capitalize, though. Oh, but he's going to have more than just a peak this time. He's got a big run on the 75A, I guess. Down the inside, slides up, and into 5th. Hanek unable to do anything about it. Just later on the brakes. And now Hanek is under threat from Tim Galvin. Although he lies in wait. Nothing doing for the 83 car yet, but he's not going to wait for too long. That much I can tell you. Because the Lord knows that the 83 has the pace to be running at least top 3. If not the lead. Just incidents have put him elsewhere. Meanwhile, AJ Knickel is taking tiny bits out of Travis's lead. But with now looking at 5 laps to go in the race, he's going to have to take out a second per lap, and I just do not believe he has that in him at the moment. He's running as fast as Sector 1 of the race. A big airtime over the first chicane. Honestly, if you're not getting airtime there, are you even taking it right? I'd say no. Did they just go too wide there? I don't know. I looked at the wrong name. Galvin, he has no run. My depth perception escaped me there. Knickel has a 2-second penalty. However, I don't know if that will. I don't think that'll stand. Most of those time penalties don't remain simply because, well, usually the driver that gets the penalties tried to slow down anyway. A 26.9 in race pace for Knickel. These are the kind of laps that most people would have liked to set in qualifying. Even Dylan didn't run that in qualifying. He ran a 27 flat. Speaking of Dylan, he at some point retired the car. Totally missed it. Hanek has lost oodles of time to Jurgensmeyer, and he's therefore even more under threat from Galvin. Good run through 4. Does he take it anywhere? It looks like that's a no. He's at 3/4 throttle, not wanting to even be alongside here. But at the exit, everything is game. Alongside just about, nope. He almost got there, but he couldn't quite get his wheels to match his. Or couldn't get his wheels to line up with Connor's, I should say. Looking at just barely 3 laps to go. There will be no more than 15 seconds left on the race timer when we begin the final lap of the race. Travis still leads, but the lead is disintegrating at the moment. That doesn't look right. A minute 36? Yeah. What? I'm gonna be honest, I don't think AJ Knickel ran at minute 36 and only lost 1 second to Travis. I don't think that's it, game. Soon enough, Galvin has to be looking for unorthodox overtakes. Waiting for the opportunity to reveal itself. He's running out of time for it to do so. He tries the outside of the hairpin. Does Panic just let that go, or did he have a slowdown? But eventually Tim Galvin now makes his way ahead. But I don't know if he'll have time to get any further than that. Oh yeah, Travis has found some more speed in that car, or at least he's got the speed back to a consistent point. A 27.6 from Travis, answered by AJ with a 27.8. But just 2 laps to go. Travis need only stay on the racing surface, and he will have this race. Oh, speaking of staying on the racing surface, Gabe Gazzola, I may have failed to do that. That'd allow his teammate to catch back up to him. Stotts had been hovering about 1 to 1.5 seconds back, but never really closed in enough to think of a pass. But now, with literally 2 laps to go here, Stotts might be looking at his team owner here. Something happened to Galvin back here. He's now back behind Connor Hannock, as well as behind Matthew Daly. Not quite sure what happened. I don't think there could have been contact. I think Hannock let him go by some margin, so it was just a self-inflicted error, is my guess. The Stotts go for a peek? Nope, not into the hairpin. I'm really shocked we didn't see more passes through there, because that's the easiest passing zone on the track, if you were to ask me. But everybody got him done into the second chicane instead. That was literally the only place we've seen overtakes tonight. The session timer now expired. This spells the final lap for the race. A 3-second lead in hand. Travis only needs to stay on the racetrack. AJ cut it down by about 1.5 seconds in the last lap. Or more, actually, but that still isn't enough on its own. As we look back to the battle between T1A drivers of Cazzola versus Stotts for the last podium spot. Stotts got the run from that chicane. Can he get anywhere with it? I don't know, it doesn't seem like it. I think the run stalled at about 4th gear. And a really slow exit from the second chicane. I think that's about it for Stotts. Unless he sends it desperately into the hairpin, which he does not do. Final 2 corners for Travis van Oostendorp in that 25 car. He will bring it home for CLE. Travis van Oostendorp is your winner at the 40 minutes of Zolder. AJ Knickel gets back to second place to preserve his points lead. And Gabe Kozilla will hang on to that last podium spot over his teammate Matthew Stotts. Definitely some chocolate ice cream hours for Matthew Daly. 7th at the end of the race, after having a car that looked like it could literally win the race. But he's not the only one, as well. Tim Galvin's day didn't go any better. He had the fastest car, and he has 8th place to show for it. And Dylan Bam was running in the top 4 the whole race alongside them and AJ Knickel, and he doesn't even complete the event, getting merely 1 point in the matter, DNFing, well, at lap 18 there. And so now I will edit the party settings to allow those drivers into this party, and we'll get our podium interviews going here. I think that was the right party. I suppose it doesn't even matter which one I invited. They're in all of them, so.
What the hell is this?
This isn't the broadcasters. Yeah.
Oh, then why is this called an Opel's party?
Because it started as a closed party and then invited the broadcasters party afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, bye, Fidel.
D.
Be gone. I was like, did I invite the wrong party? No. Fidel.
God damn it, I hit the wrong button.
We're on the stream, young man. Alright, well, with the 40 minutes of racing gone by, our podium finishers join us in the party. We'll start with the 3rd place finisher of Gabe Kozilla, who had to hold on to it with his cold dead hands over his teammates. In that battle, you know, with your own teammate Matthew Stotts, were you like stressed about him making moves, or did he assure you that he would just kind of sit back and only pass if you let him?
Oh no, there was no like he wasn't gonna be easy on purpose, but luckily it never got to that point to where he could really make a move on me. He was never really close enough, thankfully, but I could trust Stotts to where if we could race side by side, I wasn't worried about wrecking.
I suppose that's an important position to be in for teammates.
Yeah.
And then I guess not really the person to ask about what happened with the drivers that were running up here early, because you probably didn't even see them. I guess you just you had a typical Gabe Kozilla race. You just kind of quietly drove your race car at a decent pace, avoided the madness, and reached the finish line. Got 3rd out of it.
Yeah, per usual, I qualified like garbage and somehow made my way up.
I like how I usually run. I don't have much pace, but I have some consistency, and I have racecraft that keeps me out of trouble usually. And I just get good results off of that. And as for 2nd place, AJ Knickel. I mean, I would ask about the 8 seconds. I don't think they matter. They don't change anything anyway. I did not actually, because I was looking down at the point standings when that first crash happened. You actually walk, well, more so me, but also just walk everybody else through on stream what actually transpired there to bring that safety car out.
The first one? The second one? Which one?
The first crash.
Oh, Matty spun out. That was what happened. He spun out, he dropped it, and I had to avoid him, and from there it should have been real easy because I had the lead, but you know how it goes.
It's never quite so simple. So I think Travis jumped you in the pits, and then...
Yeah, I mean, everything that could have gone wrong in that race went wrong. When you're out on track with... Well, first off, that first yellow, I came in the pit, I didn't repair damage, all I did was take tires, I didn't even take extra gas, and they held me in the pit and even though I was the first pit box, there was nobody behind me. They held me in the pit, and I came out behind Travis and Jerk. Fine, whatever, I can pass them. But
and then I saw you spun in the back of the shot in the first corner of that fall.
Yeah, no,
restart,
that was the only mistake I made all race, and it sucks that when you make a mistake, there's no opportunity for recovery when people stay out and get in your way. It's going to sound real sore loserish to say that people are getting in your way, but there's no need to pit in the first, before the first safety car comes out, cycle the lead and hold everybody up and just kind of let the field filter through, blocking them, making mistakes, causing accidents, and the rest of us can't recover from that. I mean, you saw the last two safety cars, we had 4 or 5 cars coming in each yellow for damage repair, and it's because we had to cycle through somebody who stayed out 3 seconds a lap off the pace of the next slowest car. And I'm a little over that. I don't appreciate when people do that. I don't think it's in the spirit of racing, and I find it to be really disrespectful of your competitors.
And I think everybody and their dog knows who you're referring to, but shall not name names. But either way, I mean, you managed to dig through all of that and still get second place. Almost had the lead, just couldn't find the pace, or was there something?
No,
like
I didn't have the
handling?
pace because they wrecked in front of me in the last stint again. Connor blew his braking point and hit Matty. Matty spun in front of me, and I can't avoid it because he came right across the track, and I picked up a bunch of front end damage. So, despite picking up, 6 seconds over the last 5-6 laps, I was nursing damage. I set a lap time a second faster than the next fastest car, and I'm just really annoyed that on a week where it should have been a really easy win, and we're putting in practice, and we've got all the quickest cars, we got the the setup dialed into its absolute maximum, we can't get any result, and it's just because of people crashing everywhere. That's frustrating. The racecraft it was horrible tonight. I hated it. It was not enjoyable.
Very, I don't know, actually, there's a word for, I don't know. So those are the questions I had. I was trying to think of a word, but my brain just keeps going back to just steadfast. That's not even a word to use there. That doesn't mean that. So we'll just move on to the race winner, Travis Van Oostendorp, who was the beneficiary of the thing that AJ had just described. I think that's no secret.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I'll expand on that a little more. I've had to deal with said driver's incompetence, weaponized incompetence, honestly, before. So it's not like he just let me by. And,
Everyone
let me
has.
away, obviously, I don't think AJ was saying that, but I just wanted to make that very clear. He just, I got around him fairly quickly, pulled a switchback on him, and kind of just never had any trouble again in the race. I mean, probably one of my cleaner arc races. I've had my run-ins with people, but I don't think I was really near anybody at all after whatever lap I passed Logan. I mean, I passed my teammate at the start, and that was about it. As I kept driving through the race, I mean, I got really quick at the end. I think I had the 3rd fastest lap. I felt really good at the end. I didn't think AJ was going to catch me there after about halfway through that last run. I felt really good. I felt quicker than everybody except him, honestly, and I just kind of held my ground and didn't let him catch closer than about 3 seconds, but still, it was a normal heart racing trying to get away from AJ Knickel moment, like usual.
Kind of, your victory today sort of just reminds me of how I got my last ARC win, sort of ironically, almost to a T. Fastest cars in the back from earlier crashes. Logan Cool's pit strategy. Lets the car that gets to the lead get away.
It's kind of wild because I hadn't won since June, and then I won I think last week, and now I won again. I've won twice in the last week. So after not winning for like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, get 2 in a row or 2 in a week is pretty good. I'll take that.
Yeah, and then assuming I have the point standings still up, I'll actually look at. I do. It seems like that'd put you somewhere. Well, I can't even tell. I can't do the computations in my head. Yeah, but it's just like.
I don't think I really have a chance.
Yeah, not when Asia has.
My engine at Spa, and I don't think I have a chance. Yeah.
Not when Asia has a literally entire race's points lead over everybody else. I think after this race. So that's the only driver within 25, and he got 4th. So, obviously crazier things have happened. We saw what just happened with Dylan and Adria's teammates, so it could always happen to him. He'll probably tell you it seems like it always does happen to him, but do not respond to that. We're getting to the sponsorship segment, because that is about all the questions I had for you folks today. Going back to my chair for the 13th time, because I apparently can't sit still today. Interviews done. That concludes matters here from Zolder. Does anybody know what's... Dumb question. I can look on... I just had SLP up. I can look for myself for once. Barcelona is next. Is that also next in GT3, or is that just here?
Next in GT3 too.
Oh, so it's the Bathurst at the finale. Okay, so I got those two crossed. I got my BAs crossed up. Yeah, so I guess next week we can get all of the Spain, and then Monday. But yeah, Barcelona is next. But and until then, to shout out ARC's many sponsors, we got DIVEBOMB, the title sponsor of the league. Their website covers news around the motorsports world. What in the world was that noise? Got SLP, the thing I was just looking at, that lets ARC, or helps ARC and other leagues organize its stats, recruitment, and scheduling. Burn River Podcast, which covers mostly American motorsports, but some things outside of it too, and they get interviews with up-and-coming drivers on occasion as well. James McAdam, partnership with him that lets us use his virtual screenshots and the like for promotional posts, and AJ Nickel Design, the one responsible for making the art that goes on those promotional posts. But till next week at Barcelona, that is it from me and the ARC Prototype Challenge. Good night.